Hello and welcome to another episode of No Major Opinions. Will be like season 2, episode 2, I guess, of our podcast. Going with recorded, it's nice. It's just better. Way less hassle. So this episode, we're going to be talking about a few things before we get into it. Talk to each of us, see what we've been doing. I've been doing the same shit of just playing video games, making Dust Force maps and stuff. Lurk, what you been up to?
Well, I finally got out of job hell after like 2.5 weeks of dealing with students moving back in. I work in higher ed, so dealing with that in the midst of COVID and all those fun things has been really quite a joy to experience. Not really, but I finally got through it. People are here. I have no idea how long this is going to last for, but yeah, at least I'm out of the hell part, crunch part of it, so.
Have you been playing any video games at all? Has it just been no time for you?
Pretty much no video games at all.
Shit.
I've just been getting home and just been dead, so. But I do hope to, there's some new stuff that's come out for Castlevania Chronicles. I forget the name of the runner who did it, but he used the cross on the Medusa boss, and turns out that's actually really good. Go figure. So now we have to get that early, which means that we should actually do like the skeleton bone boss cross early damage stack, and so it just means all these fun things to save a couple seconds, and I kind of meant to get back into it anyways for original mode, but now there's even more of a reason to get back into it, so like I have my PS TV ready to go. I just need to, go. So yeah. What about you, Dark Aries?
Not too much. I do want to also add on that, these pre-recorded episodes are super nice because we can kind of do a rough draft of like what we're going to be talking about and kind of already write down some points. We can kind of pre-build the episode. We did that when we were live, but when you do things live and you have guests and stuff like that, it's very easy to kind of get off script. Meanwhile, since it's pre-recorded, if we just start shooting the shit and just get completely off topic, that just doesn't exist, which is super nice. Video game wise, I mean, I lucked out. I was reminded that Ring Fit Adventures exists. And then I looked it up on Amazon, and it was in stock on Prime, so I'm like, oh. Then I double-checked the local EB Games, and magically every single one in my city had one in stock. So I walked over to my closest one, and I bought it, the last one in the store. And I've actually been playing that, not every day, but I have been playing it when I'm not biking or walking, because I'm trying to, be active before I get shut in for the winter. And it's been really fun. We actually had a speedrun of it on the NASA channel during Speed Docs, but as somebody who likes video games and kind of was active, not really with sports, but I did karate for like almost a decade, if not longer. Yeah, it is really fun. I do enjoy it. And it is an actual workout. There are muscles that I totally forgot existed that you work on with little different exercises, and the ring itself is super robust as well. My dad, who's like a Slavic bear and can probably bench press 5 of me, tried like pulling on it, and he could not break it. So it's Nintendo really knows their stuff when they built that.
That's surprising. I actually own it as well, and I always thought like I felt like something that someone could break if they really wanted to, but like I didn't try, so I was like, ah.
And there's like speedruns of that are actually like really impressive because they're like over 10 hours of just...
Yeah, long as hell.
They are long as hell, but I did look into it. The way that the game works is that it actually calibrates to your fitness level. So it calibrates like how hard you can push into the ring, how hard you can pull out, and how fast you can jog and run. So what they do is they actually calibrate it so it's like they can't do anything. Like their pushing is almost nothing, their pulling is almost nothing. And then they play on the easiest difficulty. And that way, when they do the exercises in the game thinks that they're like gods because that's the way they calibrated it. So using that, they can kind of speed run through it, quote unquote. But it's still grueling. Like
Yeah.
The run that happened during Speed Docs was like almost 2 hours, I think. And that was just beating the first 2 worlds or whatever. And even then, like 2 hours of physical exercise, like you have like little breaks here and there, but it's not like you're not doing anything. So
I don't know, man. Seems like a cop out. I don't know that's real speed running.
They do have a max difficulty speedrun I saw on speedrun.com.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's the one I saw. It's like It looks
I can't believe people finished it.
Because that's like, yeah, over 10 hours of like actual like working out.
Oh, it is rough. Some of the exercises are anything involving core exercises is pretty easy, except for planks because it doesn't really register all that great. But then you have leg exercises, which are like squats and thigh presses and all this stuff. Those ones you can kind of get through. Squats are a little bit rough. There's like a mountain climbing exercise that doesn't really work well because it only relies on the one Joy-Con. So that one, I'm pretty sure it almost never gets used, at least early game in casual play. Arms can get super tiring though because you're constantly pushing or pulling on that ring. And since I'm playing on the hardest difficulty and I can, in fact, pull and push on it 100% like it wants me to, it can get rough. But, that's the whole point to exercise, so.
Yeah, I should get back into that too now that you mention it. My shit's been just sitting over there, but like, I already come home dead already, so, that isn't really not that appealing.
I mean, I certainly enjoyed it, and I kind of raved about it a bit to my friends, and then all of a sudden, like, 3 of them went out and bought the game, so highly recommend.
I'm just worried because it's like I'm kind of a, super out of shape fat guy, and it seems like a scary game to me.
So, I mean, it calibrates to your fitness, right? And the one thing that's different about this game in comparison to a lot of like the Wii Fits and other games, it doesn't actually mention weight at all. And this isn't really a spoiler because it's the first thing you see in the game. The main villain is a super buff dragon called Drago. And he doesn't even get like mad at you. He just gets annoyed that he works out so much, but yet, you're the new guy and you can still kind of defeat him. So he goes and works out more. And it seems that really the plot is just that this guy's consumed by the fact that he has to constantly work out when, you don't really have to. You just have to do it a little bit a day.
And you can totally cheat some of them if you really want to.
Oh, yeah. For squats, it wasn't registering properly for me at one point. So I literally just got super mad. I pulled the Joy-Con out and I just started like angling it myself with my hand because I couldn't get the squats working.
Well, the attachment for your thigh just doesn't really stay that well.
No, it
And then
sucks.
my hamstrings are also fucked. So like I just literally can't squat all that great or like the way it really wants me to like get all low and shit. So like, because I just fall backwards.
Yeah. It's the leg exercises are not that great. That's why when I do play, I prefer the arm and the ab exercises, except for the leg lift and thigh press exercises, because those ones are super easy. Just lift your leg. It's really hard to fuck up the Joy-Con kind of angling when you lift up your knee, and the thigh press relies on the ring. So,
but yeah, as cool as Ring Fit is, let's move on to maybe some NMO news. Just want to make sure everyone knows that we have decided to eliminate our newsletter and our forums, mostly because they just weren't really being used all that much, if I'm going to be honest. And like,
was there a single forum post?
Yeah, there was a couple forum posts about like people being worried about the cost of the event going up, and that was like a potential thing. And a couple like we had like I think 3 newsletters, two to 3 newsletters, something around those lines, and I posted those, and I think there may have been some posts on there, but really it wasn't really utilized all that much, and I was the only one posting newsletters, and that didn't really get utilized that much either. So we're hoping that we can replace that with this segment with NMO as sort of like our next. This segment is like very specific to just NMO, which we don't have really any news beyond the fact that we're back. But then for NASA news, we've got more stuff coming up, and we promise we'll try and keep those segments like kind of short and concise and kind of keep it so that you can find that easily for the folks who are really just interested in sort of like what's going on with NASA or...
Yeah, we'll still have like Twitter posts and stuff on the site, just not dedicated newsletters.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe we can try using those YouTube timestamps that are super popular, at least if you're listening on YouTube. If you're listening through like Apple Podcasts or Mixcloud or Stitch or something, you might be SOL, but
at least we'll try and keep it consistent, like towards the front of the cast and things like that, and try not to talk about Ring Fit for like 9 minutes before we get to some news and things like that next time or something. But it might not even be 9 minutes. Who knows? I could be estimating. Maybe I'll cut it down as the editor. But yeah, just wanted to let people know that that's what we'll do, and we promise to keep it short, or we hope so.
I guess we kind of jump into the NASA news portion, which surprise. we're going to be opening the horror thriller monster marathon submissions. Basically, somebody asked in our Discord today as a recording if that was going to be a thing. And generally, it's very flaky if it's a thing or not, because a lot of us are just busy during that time. And running a marathon just on one or two people is not fun, at least for the people who have to run it, restream-wise. And I checked with the Hive Mind, which is our group and team of restreamers that we kind of developed during NASA 2020, and a lot of them also helped out with Speed Docs, and they'll probably continue to help out with a lot of other events as well. But we got a handful of people saying they're willing to help, and that is awesome. So basically, the event's already made. Signups will open up as soon as this podcast goes live.
It's going to be spooky.
Yeah, definitely get all your spooky submissions. And it doesn't matter if it actually is spooky or not. As long as you can tell us why it is spooky, you can submit it.
Like, actually, I recently made a map in Dust Force. It's the Raven. Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven. And it's just like a very slow-moving prism that if you hit it with like the light attack, you can just hover on it. And it's like 20 minutes of just mashing light attack as it scrolls through like the text of the poem, and I have like little animations of like characters like enacting the poem.
That's awesome.
Like,
I hope you submit that.
I'll submit it, but if I fall or fail at any time, I'm not restarting because it's fucking trash.
Single attempt. Yeah, there you go. Another update for NASA is that we're working on the website, mostly on the back end. Aries has already updated the nav bar. You can't tell, but he did do that.
Oh my god, that was so much effort. I had to go through the memory banks of college and PHP and all this stuff, and I'm banging my head, why doesn't nothing work? And then it turns out, yeah, you need to change the file extension to be PHP instead of HTML, dum-dum. So there went a couple hours of work down the drain because I was really dumb. But then I eventually got it working. So the website is now a lot easier to update, because whenever we would want to do an update of adding a new page, let's say, we just did a collaboration with Speed Docs that just happened. I think they raised like over $4,000. But if we want to add under our collaborations in the navbar Speed Docs-a-thon, we would have to go to every single HTML page on our website and copy and paste the new navbar onto it, which is hell. Now it's all dynamic. We update one navbar and the PHP kind of just pops it into every other page, which is super nice.
Yeah, we're going to update the website more, and you might not notice, but we will.
Yeah, there's already the NASA 2020 page with all the playlists on it there, and we're going to keep updating all the pages as we go.
And then you already mentioned Speed Docs.
Yeah, it seemed super successful. It was their first event. Basically, Quo was kind of I guess I would say the project leader, project manager on that event. And it seemed super successful. Everyone had a lot of fun. There was some things that broke at 4 a.m. in the morning that I spent like 2 or 3 hours fixing with him. But after that, everything else seemed to be super smooth. And I'm hoping that they'll just want to do more events with us because it was super fun. It was $4,000 that went to St. Jude's. I just checked right now. A little over, but rounding it, $4,000 that went over to that charity.
Awesome. What other upcoming events do we have?
So I took a quick look at Horaro and Onigus, or however it's pronounced, and not a lot really stuck out to me, but I did find 2 events to kind of talk about. The first one is Finn Runs Assembly, has their submissions open right now. Probably not super useful unless you speak Finnish, but, just giving their event a shout out. Another event, though, that did close their submissions in is actually going to be going live. Both events actually go live on October 16th. But Puzzle Game RTA Festival. This is a puzzle online marathon ran by the Japanese speedrun community. And as a person who is part of the puzzle general speedrunning community, or at least that's what it's currently called, the name might change, spoilers. But as somebody who's part of that kind of community, this schedule is a banger. There is Mr. Driller, there is Puyo Puyo, Puzzle Bobble, there is Mom Hid My Game, there's Meteos, Box Boy, Piku Niku, Tetris, multiple versions of Tetris, Luminous, Wario Woods, Paneled Upon. Like, this is an awesome marathon, and the Japanese speedrunning community is super good at puzzle games. So definitely check it out if you're into that kind of stuff.
I guess now we'll do host recommendations. Lurk, what do you recommend?
So I just rewatched the movie Pitch Black. It just came out in 4K, like the new 4K HDR
That's such
or
a
whatever.
good movie.
Yeah, the color grading on that movie, I forgot how colorful it changes because like there's like the 3 suns at one part and that's like super black at other parts, and yeah, that movie's all over the place.
It's the best Riddick movie.
Yeah, first it's definitely the best Riddick movie.
I agree.
It's like by quite a large margin.
Oh, it's so good because it's like it's not just a Riddick movie, you know. He's a character within it, but it's not. There's so much more going on.
Yeah, it's like if you don't know anything about Riddick, it's like he's just like the driving character, but he's not like his background or isn't that important.
Yeah, and I just watched the director's cut, which is different than the theatrical cut in ways that I didn't know and greatly appreciate. Such as like John's isn't just a junkie, and like he is in the theatrical cut. Like he shows Fry like that he's actually got like a bullet in his back, and that's why he takes morphine all the time because he like feels it constantly because Riddick shot him. It's not just that he's an asshole. He's totally still an asshole, but it's not just that he's an asshole. That there's more nuance to it that they cut out. So I don't know. It's really cool. Definitely recommend Pitch Black. Good ass movie, even if you can't watch it in the new 4K.
I'm definitely going to pick up that Blu-ray because I did not realize that director cut exists. And also, after watching the Dune trailer, I realized there's a lot of kind of similarities between the Riddick series and Dune. So that will definitely get me pumped up for that.
Aries, what's your recommendation?
Beyond Ring Fit, which we talked for X amount of time, what I do recommend is actually watching The Boys. 4 episodes are out as of the recording of this podcast, and on the next Friday that's going to happen, episode 5 comes out. It is super interesting. If you don't know what The Boys is, it's basically what happens when you have superheroes who actually act like real people, not like this Captain America, I'm super nice and everything's goody two-shoes stuff. People are terrible and good, and they're people. They're real people. And Anthony Starr, who plays Homelander, just deserves an award for how he plays that character. I don't really want to talk about it too much to spoiler it, but basically Season 1 is super amazing. Season 2 is also being super amazing. Go give it a watch. It's on Amazon Prime. Probably worth the Prime subscription by itself because it is some top quality television.
I guess my recommendation, I'll go with the 80s TV show Police Squad with Leslie Nielsen. It's from like the people that made Airplane. It's like a very similar type of comedy where everything's just absurd, and Leslie Nielsen's character is just strangely goofy, but he's like the straight man, like a sensible character in the series. In the Naked Gun movies, he's like a moron. They're both. I'd recommend both, but I think the TV show is funnier.
Oh yeah, I definitely remember that show. That's the one where it's like you see clips of it on the internet where like they're walking through to the police office and they take the door, but he just literally goes around the wall because it's a set.
Yeah, like they do all sorts of like little gags like that. Or at the end of every episode, like when they freeze for credits, it's like the camera's still rolling and they just like stop moving, and like shit's always happening during it. Like everything in it is a gag. It's great.
Yeah, definitely. I've never watched it, and I've only watched clips, and that's reminded me that I should definitely watch that series at some point.
Well then, let's move on to our question and answer segment. We got one question. Really appreciate that, and I will read it for the group, and then we can respond to it. I don't know why I sound like a robot now, but here we go. You can banish one game to Speedrun Room 101. Meaning we never see it at a speedrun marathon again, no matter how big. What game is getting the chop?
Super Mario World. Like, it's not even like for me, it's like by a large margin just for how long the game is versus the amount of enjoyment I get from watching it. It's like the worst ratio.
I'm gonna say Super Mario 64.
That was my answer.
Well, too bad, because now it's my answer.
Now I gotta think of another game. Crap.
Yeah, I just don't care about Super Mario 64 in general, but I also feel like the advancements really aren't all that great. It's like, ooh, lag reduction. Like, all right, cool, dude.
Well, 64 is just one of those weird games where everyone plays on what is arguably a slow version of the game beyond the different versions on the N64. It's just a fact that N64 is slower than Virtual Console and will probably be slower than the upcoming Switch version. So everyone plays on an inferior version.
Yeah, it's like arguably the worst console ever made, objectively speaking, because it can't play any of its games at the intended frame rate. Everything's chugging along. There's so many issues with lag, just textures being shitty. It's just awful.
And just like, there's nothing new. It's the same run over and like, I get it's to the point where it's the same thing, it's competitive, but after you've seen it, has there been any new things in a while? It's the same thing.
I wouldn't know because I just don't watch it.
There is the randomizer, which is kind of cool, but when it happened to GDQ, it was just so disorienting to watch because you can never know who's ahead, and everybody kind of picked it. It was just not a good watch. So something that, worked for A Link to the Past, where a randomizer, oh my god, everybody loves watching this game. Everybody, in quotes anyways. SM64 can just don't care for it.
How did the SM64 randomizer work?
Basically, I'm pretty sure they actually play it on Virtual Console, which is really stupid when you think about it. But all the star locations are swapped. Like, you would enter a place and it would have a random world. Like, each star in that painting would have a different level. So just because you go into the one painting doesn't mean like if you go to Bomb Bomb, it doesn't necessarily mean that the first star in Bomb Bomb is actually a Bomb star.
A Link to the Past, like, the randomizes the order you get items, and like
yes,
your route would be different, whereas this would be you still just go to the paintings probably in the same order. You just enter different like sub levels at different times. That doesn't. I hope there's some more to it beyond that.
It really didn't seem like there was, and realistically, you couldn't really tell who was ahead because everybody picked it just wasn't a fun watch, and I think reading comments on Reddit and the Twitch chat and everything also confirmed that it just wasn't a great watch.
Yeah, I think like Randomizer can be great if they're for like equipment based kind of speed runs or like upgrade stuff. In Mario 64, I don't know if there really is any of that.
No, I don't think so. It's just literally pick the star and go. So
I know in the DS version, there's like the unlocked characters and hat stuff. That would probably be better for Randomizer, although most people fucking hate that version.
It's just a boring game.
It really is.
I mean, casually, it's probably fun, but as a speedrun, I can agree. It's definitely boring.
No, it's boring. Casually, I could never finish it. It's just like, okay.
Like, the worlds, the first few worlds feel identical. Like it doesn't... Ugh. It's just bland. But I guess casually, it's probably... As a speedrun, SMC4 is probably better, but casually, the Mario World might be better. I don't know. I just find them both boring, so I don't really care.
Oh, I just thought of because Lurk stole my answer of SM64. I just thought of another game that to banish any Mega Man game. I really do not care for the Mega Man games, and it's probably because people have this mentality where they shove every single Mega Man game together in a marathon, and for the next 6 hours, you see the same crap over and over and over again.
I definitely think they don't work well as blocks, but they can be great individually. That's another series where actually they prefer the slowest official version. I remember there's a PlayStation collection that has the Mega Man X games, and Cyber Demon was running on that because it was faster, and got shit on by a lot of people for it. It was funny. I love that shit.
Isn't it lagless?
It's basically lagless. And I remember someone was arguing against it, saying it's one's going between rooms. It's on the SNES version, I have time to mentally prepare for the upcoming boss or platforming. But in the PSX version, it's just you're just there. It's too quick.
It's too fast. I'm going too fast.
Of all the arguments to not do like the PSX version. That was like the funniest one I've heard.
I know PlayStation speedrunning can be really messed up at times because of models and disk loading and everything, but objectively choosing a slower version of the game because reasons just it's never sat well with me.
Nintendo boys, it's what they do, man. I'm not gonna. It's part of their culture. This is just turning into like hating Nintendo fanboys.
Yeah, fuck Nintendo.
I love the kind of vibe of this podcast. Man, Nintendo's great. Ring Fit, it's awesome. Like a couple minutes later, screw Nintendo.
Hey, they can do some great shit. I never had. Oh, I guess I had an N64 as a kid, but it's like I didn't like. I only played the multiplayer stuff with people. Just like when you're playing with people, even shitty games can be fun.
Hey man, Mario Party was some of the best time at...
Mario Party's actually, I wouldn't even call Mario Party bad game, like a bad game. Like they can be, Mario Party 1 is like brutal, but it's fucking hilarious. Like GoldenEye's bad, but if you're playing with people, it can be fun.
Actually, shoutouts to the Mario Party run that we had at NASA 2019, where we had an actual Mario on the couch. That was awesome.
Oh yeah, fucking Laz. Oh man, that was a great run all around. Quo just constantly getting shit on.
Ah, that was awesome.
Anyone have more Nintendo bashing shit we want to go before we go to the next topic?
No, but if somebody has Nintendo bashing, pop it into the comments on whatever platform you're listening to this. And if you don't have comments, put it in our Q&A form.
Ask us, or yeah, it's like I guess to respond to the Q&A. It's like, what are your preferred Nintendo hating arguments to make? Just lay it on us, because clearly we're assholes.
What's your favorite way to hate Nintendo?
So it's kind of weird, not really weird, how this topic came to be. Basically, on our speedrun, the cesspool of speedrunning, if I'm being honest, had a meme get upvoted right to the top. And it's that meme where it's the Jimmy Neutron thing, and it has Sheen as GSA going like, this is 24/7 speedrun variety. And then the teacher's just like, GSA, this is like the 20th time you've shown Super Mario 64 and Super Mario Maker. That's not variety. And it's just clearly people resonated with that because it was the most upvoted thing ever on that subreddit, I'm pretty sure. And it just got me thinking, like, what is competitive speedrunning right now, or even just events in general? There was this whole big thing with pace and other things, and ESA had their break the record live, but clearly none of that's happening now.
Yeah, there's like different ways to interpret it. Of like competitive speedrunning is just whoever is getting a record time in anything, whether it's a small game or not, and that's slightly different from the commercialization or like the streaming of trying to do that, especially when it's like branded as like break the record, where it's like their goal is to like, this stream we're gonna try and do this stuff. I guess commercialized is the only word I can think of that fits.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I forgot. There was actually just a recent break the record live with Doom Eternal. And I know that the ESA folks, they actually put in a lot of effort in production for these events because it really works for them. So if it works,
Yeah, it makes money.
But I remember the pace events, and at least the first one. I think there were a couple other ones that I kind of tuned in. I don't actually remember them doing much. I think they just partner with Smash people and they call it a day, and then they kind of just have people show up. So I don't know. Even then, if you take a look at their Twitch, right? I actually just checked this before the episode. It's just rebroadcasting, and it's not even really rebroadcasting recent stuff. It's matches from 2018. And when you take a look at their schedule, they have something happening on the Sunday coming up, and then I guess the Sunday 2 weeks after that. So bi-weekly Sundays, they have live content, it seems. And then the rest is 24/7 variety, which is basically just rebroadcast. So they're not really doing much.
I've seen a lot of like the ESA attendees make comments of like they don't know when ESA stuff is actually happening, because it's like whenever they see the channel live, it's like they don't know if it's live or a rerun. Like from the perspective of an attendee or someone wants to watch live stuff, that can be like frustrating. But it's like for the people that run the channel, like if that's like their source of income, I totally understand. Just like, turn on the money button, hit that shit.
There's actually a little bit of a difference with the way how both those channels kind of go about that whole process. When you take a look at ESA's stream, I believe the intermissions mention that it's a rebroadcast, but also the Twitch title, plain as day, says that it's a rebroadcast. When you look at the GSA stuff, the only thing that lets you know it's a rebroadcast is little kind of tiny letters at the bottom ticker graphic that says rebroadcast info and then the match. Everything else doesn't point towards the fact that it is actually a rebroadcast.
I mean, the illusion of a live broadcast might be more profitable.
I guess so. I don't know. I just really kind of wish that there was more in that space, because I haven't checked on speed gaming in a while, but I'm fairly confident they have enough content to keep them going with live stuff all the time, because there's randomizer this, randomizer that, tournament this, tournament that. Pretty sure there's actually, when I was looking at the marathon stuff, there's like a Portuguese marathon was going to happen or is happening there at some point. So there's always content happening on that section. They've kind of cornered the market on competitive speedrunning, I guess.
Well, once you've held a couple marathons, especially, even if they're just over a weekend, a lot of hours of content that you can keep rebroadcasting.
And for anything that's like regularly scheduled stuff like the speed gaming things, I could also understand wanting to do reruns. Just so it's like, oh, I could use a break for a couple of days, like the equivalent of like time off.
Yeah, that's how other streamers use it. Like, I know Carnage will do like a past type of thing where he makes it a joke that is, his rebroadcast doesn't respond to chat and all that sort of thing, but he scheduled it. Like, he lets people know, like, hey, you're gonna have this rebroadcast at this time, and then I'll be live at this point. And so he uses it as a way to take a break, but he's very transparent with the fact that it's a rebroadcast.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I don't know if people are taking into account is that the more live your channel is, the more likely that new people are going to bump into it, and the more likely that more people in general will continue to watch it. If we take a look at the speed docs that actually just recently happened on our channel, when it started off, it had X amount of viewers. As the weekend continued to progress and it was live, the viewership kept going up. Why? Because when something's live and you go, hey, go check it out, if it's still live, you're going to be able to check it out. If it's already done, well, you don't gain anything from that. Most people don't actually go to Twitch VODs and other things. So if a Twitch channel is live, the longer it's live, the better for the channel.
I'd be curious if like the future of like not just speedruns but Twitch in general is having a lot of the super popular streams getting treated like TV shows and syndication, where it's like all they do is have reruns, but those are like, profitable enough that it's like they get people still watch it. They don't ever actually make new content because they don't have to, which would be bizarre.
I mean, syndication is a thing.
Yeah, but it's like I see streaming as being, it's meant to be like this, a live in the moment sort of medium, and it's getting turned into like more of a TV thing.
Well, and that's especially the draw for marathons, where that live environment, people cringing at what's happening on screen or going all poggers about, whatever the fuck someone just did in the video game. That's really what the whole point of it is. But it's more profitable to have the viewers for a longer period of time, because there's more of a chance for like ad revenue to be playing, and more people will come into your channel and like maybe get tricked by that expectation that maybe you're live, even though maybe you actually aren't and it's just a rebroadcast. But there's still more of an incentive for you to give off that appearance, especially if you're someone, if you can average even, 100 people and then your rebroadcast gets like 25, that's still really fucking good. Like, if you can retain that amount.
I'd actually be really interested in having like Adam AK, who's like actually like an economist. I think he has his PhD now in like economics, of getting as much like of the publicly disclosed info of what people make from like streaming on like any platforms, and then is trying to like theory craft like the maximum profit stream setups and like the behavior and culture around like maximum profit streaming.
Well, we could definitely take a look at people's sub counts. A lot of people make that public as sort of like, I'm trying to get this much as a goal, you know? And then they just have like a Streamlab thing that just counts how many of them have. Someone like who's really, really big, like Summit 1G or something, like pretty average is, I would imagine something like 15K subs a month, which, you know, he has probably the better partnership deal that they like to give people. So he gets like 350 out of the $5 of that thing, assuming it's all tier ones, which they aren't. And so it's kind of hard to gauge, but you can definitely get some sort of idea just by what's available, yeah.
And I mean, the thing is with streaming as well, it's kind of hard to build up a base as well. I mean, me and Lurk have the PD Cinema, which has been going on for a while, and it's live essentially 24/7, and we can see kind of the small growth. So, you know, it's not easy, at least as it was back in the day, to just get a Twitch channel and boom, you now have followers. But even if you have a massive following base, I know of somebody who is a cosplayer, and they have 119,000 people following them on their Instagram. This is not a small amount. And when they do a Twitch stream, you know, they go through the whole rigmarole of an Instagram story and an Instagram post. Hey, check me out. I'm playing video games on Twitch. Come join. Playing like Fall Guys or Among Us or whatever, you know, whatever's popular on Twitch right now to play with your chat. This person only gets around 20-ish views on their Twitch stream. That is a reach of 119,000 people, and their Twitch stream only has 20-ish viewers. So why is that? Well, because it's only a certain amount. When that person posts that they're live, that's not necessarily when you have the time to watch the channel. It's only for that brief moment that those people looking at that can go to the Twitch channel and see that you're streaming, if they're even interested in watching you streaming. So it's crazy.
It just underscores the need for consistency, which I'm sure, going back to like ESA and a lot of these rebroadcasts now that with COVID and a lot of these events, AGDQ, for example, just announcing, what was it, today or yesterday, that their AGDQ 2021 is going to be online due to the pandemic and ongoing situation in the United States. You know, what else are they going to do? I think it's kind of detrimental to sort of the state of marathons in general, because I think going online is definitely some way in which they're going to have to respond and transform, and we touched on that a bit in our first episode of coming back to season 2. But I think there's so much speedrunning content that is already really similar, and there's already been so many online marathons that have just done the exact same format of just you're speedrunning a game, maybe you have a cam on or you don't, and that's it. I mean, there's hours upon hours upon hours of this content, and it's definitely not pushing anything forward, I don't think, or at least I'm not seeing it. And I think it's just a real shame that we can't get back to live marathons quicker, but obviously we have to take safety into consideration.
Yeah, I'm surprised there hasn't been more innovation of like how to get interactions with online stuff beyond just like donate for X, because I know there's like games that have like Twitch chat can interact with it, usually like some of the jump scare type horror games, but having stuff beyond that in the same fashion for just general streams, I don't know.
Actually,
some way to make it good.
This brings me to one thing actually I forgot to mention as well, and it does tie into this topic. So Puzzle General actually has a Pokemon Puzzle League tournament that's happening. It's kind of the bi-yearly, because every year the game swaps. There's a tournament. And Cards of the Heart has put in a lot of effort into this tournament, at which point I think it might be the best thought out speedrunning tournament to date. Because this guy, he's put in a lot of effort into making kind of the whole thing accessible. That's the word I was looking for. He has like a little tutorial video that he made to explain the game to new people that will play at the start of the stream. There's going to be a guaranteed stream every Sunday at 7, which is something that actually I found out myself during Mystery Puzzle Challenge, which we had on our channel as a collaboration with Puzzle General. When we had a stream at a consistent day and time, people got used to that, and then they would ask, hey, where did the stream go? Because it's 7 on a Sunday and you're not live. So if you get people used to that there is a match, it's just like real sports, right? You'll tune in and you'll watch it. Plus, everything's broken down into the seeds. there's little bios on each runner. So like, this is the X seed, and here's some little tidbits about them. This is like their personal best, and they first started running the game at this time, instead of just kind of tuning in and there's some speedruns happening. There's a lot of thought put into it, and I'm actually super excited for it.
I guess one thing on accessibility, I just looked at the Twitch following thing right now, and currently streaming is Xanda, who is currently, I think, like the #1 ranked Dustforce player. He's like wicked good and got like 2 viewers, but there's like nothing on like super technical game. It like, if you're seeing it, it looks impressive, but it's kind of hard to understand. It's like someone like the example of how like not being accessible can be counterintuitive to building a viewer base. I don't know how much, like, using individuals as a case study, there could be a lot of outliers, but I'd be curious what the most accessible streams then would be.
Well, I guess for the state of like speedrunner streamers, how many streamers are currently strictly speedrunners who are in that kind of like top 1% of Twitch? How many do y'all know of? I can think of maybe 2 or 3.
Like the only like big name ones that I at least can think of and I talk to would be like Trihex and Cerno.
Does Trihex even still speedrun?
Like, I think occasionally he's more of just like a variety streamer, but I think so is Cerno. But they're both like, I don't know, speedrunner once, speedrunner always, or whatever. Fuck, what's the phrase? X for something, X for life. Can't remember that shit.
I know what you mean. Like, they used to speedrun, and that's kind of what their original streamer core was.
You can never escape the speedrun life.
Yeah, I think Triax was actually speedrunning Yoshi's Island again because of some poll that he did recently.
Yeah, I saw. I think he made a tweet about that, of like how long would it take him to get to his like 2015, 2016 PB when he like last played.
Yeah, I can think of like ZFG. He's still strictly like an Ocarina of Time speedrunning stream and has been for like years now. So he's definitely still doing it.
I guess it would be any speedrunner who is on a esports team, right? So any of like the CLG speedrunners or Grand Pooh Bear, sponsored by Red Bull or whatever, those would be the kind of top speedrunners.
And where I wanted to get to my point with this was that I think for a lot of those folks, speedrunning isn't necessarily like the core thing that they do anymore. It's like incidental to their streaming career. Like, they're more streamer personalities more so than...
It's a medium to them, I guess.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of folks who have picked up, like, Super Mario 64 speedrunning, for example, who are, just chatting streamers normally, and they just pick that up because, old nostalgic video game, it's super easy. It's like...
It'll get viewers, yeah.
So I don't know how that helps, like, marathons at all. I don't know if that drives more viewers to marathons to check out better speedrunners or more professional quote-unquote speedrunners.
I think that's not a question of like is it better for marathons? It's like, how do we as like people that host marathons and like the speedrun community in general like utilize that to make the speedrunning better?
Well,
because it's like that it is going to be a part of Twitch and stream culture, so we need to like
realistically, and I'll probably want to go more in depth on this specific topic in maybe a future episode. But essentially, if your marathon doesn't have like a top runner, it doesn't exist. I remember a couple more popular speedrunners, and they would always be like, "We need more events beyond GDQ." And then people would kind of list off all these events, and they would never submit to any of these events. They would just make their own event. And it's like, seriously, dude? You're literally part of the problem.
I think part of that is also just the stagnant nature of marathons. Like, there's better content for them to partake in on their own streams and collabing with other streamers. And
if your goal is to like boost notoriety, it's a very different set of criteria by which you choose which marathons or which events in general you'd want to go to.
Yeah, I think we're in a post-speedrunning kind of era at this point where, like, I think we could have been down a route where...
I wouldn't just say it's post-speedrunning, I'd say it's post-content. Like, the message is irrelevant.
Well, I guess in terms of it being super, super popular on Twitch and other streaming sites is, like, if you're doing this speedrunning thing, then you are automatically popular at it. Like, that doesn't happen anymore, really. Like, you can't speedrun Super Mario 64 and be popular anymore. Like, you have to already be a person, and then you happen to incidentally also do speedrunning. And because that's like a super popular game, that's what most people just sort of generally jive into.
I mean, realistically, a lot of the people who submit to GDQ, they do it so they can get that viewership. And it's not a secret. A lot of people do that because all of a sudden they're going to have hundreds of thousands of people watching them, and that will translate to follows. And it doesn't always necessarily translate to Twitch views, but they do get a lot more follows. And once you have a lot more follows, the chance of Twitch views also goes up.
I'd be curious because that's something that you could actually, it's like an ideal statistics question of like how much does, appearing at particular events have like an impact on your Twitch career. Most of the numbers would be like, I guess follower counts are public and shit like that, so you could probably get a bot to like, scour data on everyone that's ever run in GDQs for like follower counts, view counts, and shit. That would be kind of a neat thing to read about. Although I'm not. I don't like. I've been doing this for years. And I still don't care that I have whatever number of viewers I have. So it's not really emotionally relevant to me. I'm not invested in the issue.
You wouldn't even have to use GDQ as a source. You could just use Reddit effect. Get a YouTuber who all of a sudden went viral on Reddit. There's been a couple examples of kids who went viral doing this in this video, and everyone's like, oh, that was so cool. And then, they got a bunch of new subscribers.
Oh, yeah. I don't just mean like getting viral to get followers. I mean the impact value of each marathon. Like, what kind of viewer boost or monetary gain do you have from ESA compared to GDQ compared to everything else?
That would actually be super interesting.
Of getting the impact value, like for like science journals, how they calculate it, instead for speedrunning marathons.
And I would go out on a limb and say that it's probably a negative impact overall at pretty much any marathon you go to, unless you have a viral moment at one of those events. I don't see how, like, especially if you're already an established streamer and this is already your career, and then you're, sacrificing time to go traveling, so that's potential time that you're not streaming, so that you're not, getting donations, you're not getting subs and things like that. Then you actually have to appear at the event and do all of the event stuff, and events are, a mixed bag, I think, sometimes, depending on where you're at and what's available and what you can do there and people you meet and things like that.
You would need to pull like Kanye type shit in order to like, guaranteed that you'll, get some headlines or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like treating stuff as a career with like speedrunning just seems really odd to me, because I genuinely don't know how, like, optimizing like even just streaming stuff is already kind of like a new.
Yeah, streaming's hard enough. Speedrunning and everything on top of that is
trying to make a career out of it. It would like even if you do get like you have the luck, the skill, everything involved, and you like attain it, like maintaining it would also be like it's gonna take a lot of effort, and I don't know how to like best apply that effort because it's such a weird thing.
Well, that's why I think the marathons are not really a thing that's useful to like a career Twitch streamer type person. Like, if you can swing it, and I think this is like a major benefit that speedrun marathons from sort of the get-go and at its root have always been sort of charity marathons, because that's a driving factor for why you can take time off of work and why you can justify losing money, is because, oh, well, I'm helping a cause, I'm helping a charity, I'm helping, promote these morally just things. Like, that's a good thing to do. But if you're just going like I think this is one of the problems with NASA at some point, was just like, we're just a speedrun marathon, like we're just a vacation.
Yeah, as like a format to gain viewers, it's like we pretty much knew from the get-go this isn't going to be
right.
People literally brought up the fact that it would be easier to convince their friends to show up if there was a charity element to the marathon.
Yeah, exactly.
It was essentially made just like for the already in group. Was like it's like 2,000 people, whatever, at GDQ. It's like that's a lot of people. Let's just get a small little get together kind of deal.
There's nothing wrong with those sorts of things, but
Yeah, it's like it's just different goals.
and I think it's like for the folks like ESA and for the folks where this is more of a career and this is more of like they need to keep the rebroadcasts up and they need to do these sort of, monetary financial considerations, evolving the content and making it into more of a Twitch staple, into something that you can stream and you hit sort of those GDQ numbers more regularly of, 50K plus people or whatever. I don't even know what GDQ averages on thing, but I'm just imagining that that's an amazing number for any event to hit in general would be that. So if more events could hit that, then they could be more financially stable, and then we could do more speedrunning events, and not just NASA, but all these other, there's so many speedrunning events. There's one every weekend, like we've said this a whole bunch of times. But I don't know. I just don't see it happening, given how every marathon is the same. It's the same thing, different game, different runner, but
I guess that could also be a product of like the GDQ USA. They've kind of maybe they have figured out it's like this is like what is most profitable for us, and they're just
right.
milking that. They can't really afford to do a big risk in changing content because they've already found something that's.
Let's
like,
recontextualize this for a second, okay? A speedrun event has a lot of production value put into it. All right, you have full-on production going on for these events, okay? Normally, when there is a sporting event or a conference or any televised production, quote unquote, there is a lot of labor that a company or whoever does it pays for. Even charity events that happen at work that I work at, there is some form of money that gets paid, because nobody just goes, you know what, we're going to rent thousands of dollars of equipment and we're going to have thousands of dollars of labor just go for free. $0. Most of the time they're like, no, we understand and we value your time and equipment. Here is something to at least make it so you are not footing the entire bill, okay? Now let's take a speedrun event. There is so much volunteer labor that happens. It is actually insane. And I know that for events, they'll be like, oh, here's a free t-shirt and, here's your registration fee that's waived. If you even have like 2 4-hour shifts, that's 8 hours, all right? Put that into minimum wage for a second in your area and now calculate how much money you've made in that. Like, that's a lot of free labor that goes on in these events. And I've actually talked about this at work, because it's just one of the things where we talk about the industry, and they're like, how do you people get away with this? Where do people actually make money? And the real reason is they don't.
Well, we don't.
Realistically, I don't think a lot of events make money. Like, GDQ only works because the charity pays them money to do an event.
Yeah, they're literally contractors, yeah.
And they only work because of sort of like their Twitch, status is, they were there first and they did it right, and then they continue to do it right, and it's like a staple,
And even then, I don't think they're not like, raking in dough, living in a mansion.
Every single one of those people still have extra jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah, speedrunning doesn't make money.
Maintaining like a stream career, even if you're a super giant conglomerate, takes effort.
Yeah, I think I said this in like 2016 or something as like an edgy comment, but I think it actually is true that there's no professional speedrunners, except maybe Cool Kid, because he won like a Mega Man thing and got flown out to Japan or something like that. So,
yeah, like outside of like winning prizes.
Yeah, he got paid directly because he did a thing in speedrunning. Like that, and that does happen, but no one makes a living. Like, their career is that they break records and that's how they make a living.
Yeah, it's like professional streamers that use speedrunning
as content.
Yeah.
This isn't like even a strongman. Like a bodybuilder constantly bodybuilds, and they go to competitions and, they lift weights, they do different things, they pose, they do a lot of other stuff. And then if they win that competition, they win some money, right? That is a professional bodybuilder. That doesn't really exist in speedrunning, because where the heck are you going to get the money to pay those people?
Yeah, there's no like giant sponsors that are just like clamoring, yeah, we need those speedrunners to show off our product. The closest shit would be like the Scapegoat 2 people when they made the game and had the little competition, stuff like that. So it's like very small niche. There's no like industry level support.
Mm-hmm. And one of the few avenues that is like something transformational, and I've been disappointed in sort of the results, has been the competitive sort of speedrun scene, and sort of this, break the record is cool, but it's only going to work with popular games.
I even hesitated to call that like the competitive speedrun scene, because it's a certain level I think all speedrunning is necessarily competitive, like whether it's like yourself versus the game, or like, I'm trying to beat this person's record.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the commercial speedrunning scene.
Well, I think of it as the golf of sort of video games. Speedrunning a video game is like you're playing golf with that game. And as a community, we've all sort of, you can competitively play the same field, and things like that. And you can definitely market it that. Like, people watch golf. People watch speedruns, But it's boring as fuck. Like, let's be like, for a lot of games, it's boring as fuck. I don't care about Super Mario 64, so that's like a wrap. And then what's another popular game that people run? Like, I don't know, SpongeBob? I don't care.
I pretty much only watch streams of like games that I
Ocarina of Time,
or people I know.
I don't care. This is probably more of a personal problem, but but like just popular speed games, I'm not super into, because they usually are like N64 games that I just don't really care about. And that format isn't going to work, with Daffy Duck the Marvin missions for Super Nintendo. Like, no one cares about that game to the extent that they're going to watch like a weekend break the record style event for that sort of thing. And that's understandable. Why should they?
Personally, I think the only kind of pure speedrun, quote unquote, that can break out and do everything that we've talked about is puzzle speedrunning, because it is competitive. There's no way you can suck at the game and do good. You have to be good at the game. And every single time you start up the game, it is different. It's not like, oh, I missed this jump here at world so-and-so. That's going to be like 16 frames lost. It's like, no. Every single time you boot up that console and start up a speedrun, it is different every single time. It is the randomizers of randomizers.
And depending on the game, it can be extreme.
Tetris, competitive Tetris. It is super popular, and they have their own memes like, boom, Tetris for Jeff and all this stuff. People watch it because it's different. It doesn't matter. This person could have done super good, and all of a sudden they misdrop, or, they screw up, or they can't handle this because they're not really used to it. They're done. It's over.
Or if it's the Battle Royale thing where it's like, other people are throwing shit at them.
Yeah, it is different, and personally that's why I love puzzle speedruns, and I'm super excited for the Puzzle General tournament that's happening.
Yeah, it's like a difference between like fighting games or RTS, where it's like a person versus person competition, where it's like you're playing against a person, and that like the strategies they use will be constantly developing. But speedrunning a game, it's like you're converging to one point of like, the task or whatever the human like there's an ideal thing to achieve. And it's the developmentally stagnant comparatively.
Well, it only works if you're already familiar with what's about to happen in the speedrun. Like, for unless it's readily apparent of what's happening or where the skill is involved. Like, as far as content goes, if it's going to be the same thing, like, if you watch Super Metroid, yes, there's variation and people mess up and all that good stuff, but you generally know what each room is supposed to look like when you watch the sort of the run enough. But if you're unfamiliar, you're not going to know that someone just like thread the needle on like the specific couple of frames or whatever, or I think about like Donkey Kong Country 2, where a lot of the stuff where they're like going through barrels all of a sudden out of nowhere seemingly and stuff like that. You need people who are able to really explain and break down all that stuff, and it happens in 3 seconds. And they're already on to the next thing that's kind of fucking with the game. And so I just think that there's just such a learning curve on certain games that maybe just the right game hasn't become popular enough to speedrun, that I'm into it personally. And I don't know that enough people are, because it's Super Mario 64, and it's wow, I'm really hating on Super Mario 64 this episode. What's another game that's different and popular?
Super Metroid?
Shit. Sure, yeah, Super Metroid. Yeah, that's another popular one. But I don't know, it's not as simple.
Well, I guess like a simple to me would be like, well, I guess, yeah, mechanically simple would be like the Super Monkey Ball games, where it's like, it's really hard to optimize, but the gameplay is like self-explanatory.
Yeah.
Like, you genuinely don't need someone to commentate. You just...
I guess maybe another issue that's maybe occurring as well is like there's certain games where you could consider it to be, I guess, somewhat like Monkey Ball. You could just have competitive Monkey Ball. At what point is it speedrunning? Or are you just playing Monkey Ball competitively? There's probably some other games like
some
that.
games, like, they're, like, the default game mechanics are based around time, where it's like that's time attack. That's, like, what speedrunning is. Like, racing games being the ideal example. Like, if you're good at a racing game, that's, like, you're speedrunning it. Outside, I guess the difference would be, like, in between, like, menus and stuff, but, like, the core of the gameplay would be identical. Let's go to the sub-main topic, the Xbox Game Pass.
This is another fun topic because I saw it on Twitter. Basically, Xbox Game Pass was announced to also include the EA kind of style thing where all the EA games are included. Not the newest ones, but I think there's demos for the newest ones. But you definitely get like the FIFA and NHL and NFLs and NBAs of like the year prior, which is super awesome, plus a bunch of different other EA games. And that was included into Game Pass. And I guess somebody probably popular on the internet was like, oh my God, this is so awesome for poor people. And then people were like, well, no, it's not. I have my own opinion, but I'm very curious on what your opinions are before I give my opinion.
I have yet to see this. I've never even heard of it.
Okay, so Xbox Game Pass is basically Netflix for video games. You pay it's very cheap because there's a bunch of different sales. I personally subscribe to it. And you get access to a lot of Xbox Microsoft games. So actually, Streets of Rage 4, when it first came out, it was immediately available on Game Pass to play on Xbox and PC. Minecraft Dungeons, when it came out, instantly available on Game Pass and PC. The original Doom, for example, is available on Game Pass. There is all the Gears are available on Game Pass. There is a lot of video games that are available for Game Pass. It is the Netflix of video games. You pay a subscription, and then you can just download the game and play it as long as you have the subscription.
And this is for like the new Xbox console?
It is already available on Xbox One and PC. It will be part of the newest console because there's a digital-only console coming out, the Xbox One. The Xbox Series S is a very small digital-only console, and the plan for that is it's cheaper, but you pay for Game Pass, essentially, to have the subscription of games, or you just only digitally purchase your games.
I guess to me, it's like when I think of, like, you know, poverty gaming, I think of buying shit at flea markets, like old Sega Genesis and games for, like, you know, buy them bulk at a pawn shop for, like, $2. But, I guess for playing new games, this seems like it's the best option, at least best I've heard of.
Lurk, what is your opinion?
I'm not a huge fan of not physically owning a game if I can, although there are lots of games that I do not physically own, which I've paid for. So I don't know. I guess it's pretty cool, but it's not something that I have myself ever considered looking into because I just buy the game.
I also don't have an I only have like the, I guess I used to call it the Xbox One, or like the original Xbox. I don't know what the fucking name for that is now. The big fat green machine. I have one of those.
The only modern console that I own is the Switch.
Yeah, I bought one of those too for Deadly Premonition 2. Beyond that, the last thing I bought was like a fucking Sega Dreamcast.
It does make sense from a business standpoint, you know.
Yeah.
Streaming games, as long as it's not like the Stadia where it's all, you know, latency.
No, you actually go through
you actually
the effort
download
of
and install
games,
it. And
that's like straight trash. That's like not comparable.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So the argument against this is that it's not actually for poor people, because poor people end up spending a lot of money for these games because, you know, they actually see it on their wallets and they see the money go away, and that's bad when they can be buying games used and this and that. So here's my counter argument to this, because my main point is that Game Pass is actually good for poor people. And as a person who doesn't have a lot of money and isn't even working right now, I'll explain why. A, it is super cheap right now. This may not be the case in the future, but currently you can get Xbox Live Gold super cheap for whatever it means, you know, CD key websites or deals at Costco, whatever. You can get it for cheap. You pay $1 and it converts the Xbox Live Gold to Xbox Game Pass, which works on computer and PC. Even if it doesn't, you can buy it separately for I think $5 or $10, okay? New game comes out. It is confirmed to be on Game Pass. Let's say this is the new Forza or the new Gears or the new Minecraft, Streets of Rage 4, whatever. You now pay $5 or $10 and you can play that brand new game for the whole month. How is that not a good thing? Nobody says that you have to keep this subscription. It is actually, those crazy guys actually very often would only buy Game Pass for a month before all these deals came out, just so he can play the game, because it was cheaper and easier to quote-unquote rent the game for $5 than it was to buy it, because you're going to play it once and then probably never play it again.
Holy fuck, I just remember that renting games was a thing like 20 years ago. Fuck.
You can still do it. Actually, here locally, the libraries have a brand new, up-to-date collection of games that you can lend.
Oh yeah, I always forget that libraries are like the most underused thing.
Oh yeah,
like
they are awesome. So, the new Xbox console, it being digital only is not ideal, but saying that Game Pass as a subscription service is not good for poor people is probably one of the stupidest things that I've ever heard, because no poor person is going to pay $80 for a video game when they can quote-unquote rent it for the $5 or $10 for the month and still feel included.
I mean, not just poor, but also like cheap.
Yeah. For example, Streets of Rage 4. I played it, I beat it, I might not ever play it again, but it was on Game Pass, so I literally don't care. I didn't pay full price for it.
Or shared Steam libraries. I got like 80 hours of Metal Gear Solid 5, didn't even like the game that much, didn't pay a cent. Because I'm friends with someone that owns it.
Yeah, there's ways to share games, you can rent games and everything like that, but claiming that Game Pass is terrible for poor people because they're wasting money is just ignorant.
Yeah, sounds like it.
And that's not a major opinion. And then roll credits, I guess.